You should be able to work hard and smart. If you want to progress with powerlifting training, bodybuilding training, and putting on strength and muscle and size and get real results, it takes being patient, being humble, and being able to work both hard and smart. You want to be able to work both hard and smart. So what does that mean? That means that a lot of the time the stereotype of the gym is to work really hard, and they hit their sets, and they train super hard. There's kind of a kill it or do it or die mentality, but those people don't progress. If you think about it, an analogy to think of it is, if you think of people in society, some of the hardest working people are janitors or maids or cooks, and some of the lowest paying jobs are the hardest working people. And what that signifies, you see it in the gym too, is that the person that's working the hardest isn't going to be the one who progresses. It's going to be the person who's willing to work hard. When they need to put in work, they'll work really hard, and they'll put in the right amount of work in the right areas. But that's what working smart is. So they'll be willing to adapt and change to where they should be focusing their energies, And if you're just mindlessly working really hard at one thing, but you just do that all the time, that's kind of holding you back, because you're not willing to hold yourself back and take a step back and work smarter instead, and work at things that you really should be working at. So it's really important that, like, the purpose of this course is to teach you smart principles that you can apply to your training, and to employ what's called the 80-20 method, which is that you put 80% of your energy into the 20% of what you're doing, the entirety of what you're doing, into the 20% of that discipline that will give you the greatest return. So for lifting, that would be you put the 80% of your effort into getting good nutrition, into going to bed on time, and into having your workouts just be efficient, but not overthought more than that. Having your workouts be very simple and not pushing things more than that. I find that nutrition and sleep matter a lot more, especially sleep, matter a lot more than your training. And you can get great results having just a little bit of good progressive overload training and then getting really good food and really good sleep. But why that's important is because that's kind of working smart. That's employing the 80-20 method. That's working on the parts of your of everything that you can do that will give you the greatest return. So people, a lot of the time, they're not honest with themselves. They want to think that they're going to make the greatest progress by working the hardest, when in fact they're training too much a lot of the time, or they're doing too many exercises, or they're pushing themselves too hard, killing themselves in the gym. And that time that they're putting in the gym, if they took that day off and maybe even the next day off and just went to bed on time, they would get a lot better results. They'd lift more weight, they'd put on more muscle, they'd be stronger and better shape, lose more body fat, and be better looking. They'd have all that happen. And it's tough because it's being honest with yourself. The thing that holds people back is human nature. Can you admit to yourself that, like, it's counterintuitive, it's not obvious to us, but in fact you train less hard and you make better results. You focus on eating healthier, on eating your whole foods, and you make better results. And you focus on getting that rice, chicken, vegetables, fruits, vegetables, good micronutrients, and adequate amounts of fat, carbs, and protein, and they're getting much better results than if they train more. So keep that mindset in mind, that you have to work smart and hard. So I'll discuss it a little more. Sometimes guys will get in the mentality of, okay, like bro culture, that like, oh, I'm going to work super hard and I'm going to kill it, and then that's like what's going to get me results. That's wrong, because they end up doing bad form, they hurt themselves, they overtrain, they don't heal up properly, they have poor nutrition or poor sleep, and they hold themselves back, limit themselves in a lot of way, and they think that the answer to progressing more at that point is to train even harder. And it's like really idiotic, because it's like they're like the definition of insanity, that they're trying to do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. It's like they're like just walking into like a wall and repeatedly walking into a wall and expecting like something magical to happen and to make some progress or result from that. So that's one end, is the person that just wants to work hard all the time. On the other end of the spectrum, you have someone who wants to work smart all the time but doesn't put in hard work into the smart areas that they identify. So this is a person who sees that working smart is more valuable than working hard, and he sees that, oh, all these idiots are doing this, that this doesn't work. Okay, I'm gonna do things smarter, so I'm gonna put my energy into these things that actually work. But then they don't put a lot of effort or a lot of time into it because they're like, oh, like this is smart, okay, it'll do good. And they end up not progressing because of a lack of effort, because of laziness, and because of like, oh, like it's smart and it'll pay off, but then they're not putting that consistency and that effort into making those smart things that they identified, each of them work for them like consistently. They identify those things, they see these are the smart things that I need to do, that I should be doing, that other guys aren't, and this is where my 80-20 is. This is where 80% of my efforts will yield 20% of the best results that I can possibly want or get. But they won't put the effort, the hard work at that point into doing those things, into actually getting those things done. And so they get held back because they're not willing to work hard enough. And that's why you kind of need both. You need to be able to work hard, you need to be able to work smart. With taking a course and learning material, learning principles and ideas and strategies, these are smart principles that you can use. You figure out the best way to do it, but your job will be the hard work and being able to be honest with yourself that, okay, these are the smart things I need to do. Am I doing them? Am I truly doing them? And then going and doing those things, going to bed on time, eating healthy, getting your proper nutrition and the whole foods and proper macronutrients and micronutrients that you need, and doing the right sorts of things with training, keeping it simple but sticking to those principles and being consistent with it. You have to be able to do that smart stuff, but then you have to be able to work hard at it too. And working hard means doing it very consistently, day in, day out, and putting effort where it's needed. Some days you will have to train harder than others. Some days you'll have to push through yourself. Some days you'll have to grind and push a lot harder than you thought possible. But then you do it and you're willing to put in that effort and you're willing to do it smart, then you have means for success and means for achievement. And a quote that I like to use a lot and that I think really applies here, just to wrap up, is this Darwin quote. Charles Darwin, who is kind of known for the theory of evolution, he told this quote, which is that the person who succeeds, the strongest of the species that survives out of the entire species, is not the smartest one and is not the strongest one, but it's the one who adapts best to change. And what that signifies is that you have to be able to work hard, work smart, and then change in whatever way is necessary to continue to progress. You have to be able to adapt and grow. And that's simpler than you would think. It's easier than you would think, but it's just being on that journey. And as long as you're working both hard and smart, I think the two together signify that you are the type that is willing to adapt in whatever way necessary to continue to progress and to continue to further the goal and further towards your own goal. And that's kind of what I feel it takes to become one of the best, or to continue to progress and to continue to get better. And that's why you need a marriage of working hard and working smart.